My name is Evan. I am a firefighter with Fire and Rescue New South Wales, located in the northwestern suburbs of Sydney. COVID's had a interesting impact on my job. We have a policy, generally speaking, of having open stations to the public. So we give tours to anyone who wants to turn up, basically. So that's been totally canned. About a third of our workload is focused on fire prevention. So we'll visit one school a week thereabouts, and across the 4 shifts. So we're actually visiting four schools a week across the 4 shifts that work at my station. So that's been canned. All the work that we do installing and inspecting smoke alarms for the elderly and disadvantaged, that's all been stopped. So and we've had additional precautions put on. So generally speaking, at an automatic alarm, when that goes off, 2 fire trucks will be responded, and then we'll all get out and have a look for the offending detector, have a look for the source of the alarm. But with the new restrictions, it's only a single pump or 2 firefighters and the officer that actually get out now. And the second truck, all the firefighters and the officer stay in the truck, just to try and minimize that exposure. We're not really doing any training out in public at the moment. So all the training is in-house on station grounds. Whereas before, if we're doing drafting, we'd go down to the river and draft water out of the river to practice, or we'd go find a hydrant and put a standpipe in the hydrant to practice with that and make sure all the hydrants are working. So that's all been curtailed as well. So yeah, there's probably been about a 30-40% reduction in our overall workload at the moment. It'd be a toss-up between the change in training regime, because there's a lot of theoretical training and kind of like talking scenario-based training that we're doing now rather than physical hands-on training. And the other big challenge for me would be the public safety aspect of it, not really interacting with the public as much as we were. I'm a very social creature. So it's just been... to manage that has been a bit of managing expectations. So so with the public, just when we are out doing the shopping, making the most of it, being smiling, taking stickers with us to give to kids, that kind of thing. So it's a much less formal interaction. And in regards to training, it's a bit more self-guided familiarization and use of the tools on the truck. So it's a big red toolbox with wheels. So it's very important that we maintain skills across all the equipment that we use. So for me personally, rather than waiting for the officer to tell us what to do and what today's training is and et cetera, I'll pull a piece of equipment off the truck each shift just to maintain familiarization with that. And that's working pretty well so far in maintaining that physical capability, as well as kind of the ideas and the scenario based training. They've definitely solidified, especially in light of everybody or the workforce in general shifting to a work from home situation. Being able to get out of the house and spend 24 hours twice a week with my colleagues has been awesome. Especially in maintaining kind of the mental health of not being cooped up and stuck at home kind of thing. So it's been great. We all get on really well together now. I mean, not to say that we didn't in the first place, but now the jokes are getting a little more practical, and we enjoy taking the mickey out of each other. But we're all mucking in and helping with dinner now. Like last night we made dumplings, which is very labor intensive for all 5 people on shift. Whereas traditionally like 1 or 2 people would cook for the whole station. Yesterday everyone kind of mucked in. So yeah, it's been good. We're really getting to know each other on that more personal level and really enjoying our time together. Very much an extrovert is the long and the short of it. I love hanging out with mates, and going outdoors, spending time in the mountains or rock climbing, out on the boat, fishing, or taking my car for wheel driving. I'm very much an outdoorsman. So that's kind of solidified that. I've found that, excuse me. I really struggle with being alone for long periods, I'd say. It hasn't had much of a profound impact on my mental health, but I think that's because, with the advent of Zoom call, like social Zoom calls, and there's an app called House Party, which is a little bit less formal, and you can play games together. And so we've really, I think I also learned that kind of my social life was quite incidental. There wasn't a whole lot of intention behind organizing social events, because they always just seem to happen across a number of friendship groups. So this kind of 8-10 weeks has been very having to be intentional with social get-togethers and organizing everyone to get together at the same time. And are we doing this activity? What are we doing this week, etc., etc. So there's been a few things I've learned, but I don't see myself intentionally isolating for no reason anytime in the future. There's been a few things. I think this time period has shown us that the workforce can work from home and be decentralized. So I think there'll be less of a reliance on people having to go into an office and chain themselves to a desk 8, 9, 10 hours a day. That's what I'm hoping. And I think that work-life balance, like it's been proven through Europe that having a 4-day week is incredible for mental health. And there's not that much of a reduction. In fact, there's been an increase in workload output in those countries that have gone to 4 days a week. So I think that's a great opportunity that we as a country could go for. I think people's awareness of hygiene now is probably where it should have been about 4 years ago. So at work, we've already noticed that there's been a decrease in the number of medical calls that we're attending for assist ambulances due to people, asthma attacks and whatnot. So people are just staying on top of their on top of hand washing, which means like things like the flu, the common cold, etc. have really, there's been a vastly decreased incidence of those. I mean, I loved work to begin with, but I definitely love it now. There's been, the opportunity to get out of the house, to interact with other people who aren't my family, and to like have that physical, interaction with people, face to face. Part of, as a necessity, all jumping into the truck. We can't keep that 1 meter or 1.5 meters social distance. So, outside of the truck, obviously we tried to give that a crack, but in the truck it was nice to be close to people. So if I didn't love it before, I definitely love it now. But it's it's the world's best job to begin with. So it's it's been pretty. I don't think it has changed all that much, to be honest. But it's definitely increased my reliance on work for kind of that social aspect as well, I think.